Hallelujah, name is Christ. Before we come up to pray together, let's continue to study purpose in our hearts.
哈利路亚，奉主耶稣圣名，在我们一起到前面来祷告之前，我继续来分享励志这个主题。
We know Daniel and his 3 friends, they're very determined to not to sin against God.
那我们晓得但以理的3个朋友，他们都立志不要犯罪得罪神。
And the last time we studied, Daniel's 3 friends, even though the king was going to burn them to death, but they were not willing to compromise their faith.
那在之前呢，我们学习到，虽然他们3个朋友遇到王的威胁，但是他们还是立志不要来得罪神。
And even though the king tried to give them opportunities to get away, from telling the truth, but they still continue to hold firm to their faith.
那即使王给他们机会，让他们不要持守他们的信仰，但是他们仍然坚持自己的信仰。
So at the end, not only they experience God, but also the king also see that God was walking with them.
所以不仅仅是但以理的3个朋友，他们体验到神，连王也看到了神。
Then the king make a decree that no one is like Daniel 3 friends God.
那王最后就说，没有神是像但以理3个朋友的神一
And
样。
this is one of the greatest compliment that you and I can receive.
那对我们来说，这是最大我们可以得到的一个赞赏，
That people can truly see our God and glorify His name.
也就是人们可以真的看到神，并且归荣耀给
So
他。
when you and I make determination, it's not only for ourselves,
所以当我们立志的时候，其实不单单是为了我们个人，
but also to glorify the God that you and I worship.
并且要将荣耀归给我们所敬拜的这位神。
Now let's go to chapter 6, the book of Daniel,
那我们现在请看到但以理书的第6章
verse 1.
第1节。
So after King Nebuchadnezzar died, and after King Belshazzar died, now is King Darius.
那在尼布甲尼撒王还有伯沙撒王死去之后，接着是大利乌王。
But we know that God was still with Daniel.
那我们知道神还是与但以理同在，
Because he in verse 1 said, pleases Darius to set over the kingdom 120 satraps to be over the whole kingdom. Verse 2.
第2节。
And over these 3 governors, of whom Daniel was one, that the satrap might give account to them, so that the king would suffer no loss. Verse 3.
第3节。
Then the Daniel distinguished himself above the governors and satrap, because an excellent spirit was in him, and the king gave thought to setting him over the whole realm. So we can see here that Daniel, not only he was faithful in the eyes of God, but also he's faithful in the eyes of men.
所以我们在这几节经节可以看到，但以理不单单是在神的眼中，是忠诚的，在王的眼中也是如此。
And that's why when the king set him to be governors, right, over all those people.
所以王立他来掌管通国。
Because Daniel was distinguished above all those other, so even the king thought to himself that he should set him up over the whole realm.
那因为王见他是超乎其他的总长和总督，所以王立他来治理国家。
And this is also another way to glorify God's name.
那在这里我们看到另一个可以荣耀神的名的方法。
When you and I work in a company,
当我们在一个公司工作的时候，
if we are lazy, we don't do what we need to do, we don't do the job that we're supposed to do, of course God's name will not be glorified.
那如果我们很懒惰，我们没有做好我们需要尽的责任，那这样神的名就不会得到荣耀。
So we cannot think that when you and I are Christian, not only when the time we come to church, but also we need to be Christian 24/7.
所以我们作为一个基督徒，不单单只是在教会的时候做基督徒，应该在我们日常生活当中都行出基督徒的样式。
We need to be a Christian, in our work, at our work.
我们必须在工作的场合也表现出基督徒的样子。
We need to be Christian behind closed doors.
那我们即便在关上门，在背后，我们也要行出基督徒的样子。
Because in the eyes of God, He sees us every time.
因为在神的眼中，他无时无刻都看着我们。
But sometimes it's very hard to do.
但是这个很多时候是不容易做到的。
Especially when you're working, with people in the world, and a lot of them, they get jealous, they get envy, and sometimes they do things to sabotage your career.
那因为我们在这个世界上，很多时候我们会招致其他人的嫉妒，所以这不容易做到。
And sometimes we feel, hey, if they want to do this to me, then I want to do it back to them.
那有的时候我们会遭遇别人的陷害，那我们或许会觉得别人这样对我，我也要这样回报他们。
Look at in verse 4.
但我们来看第4节。
So the governors and satraps sought to find some charge against Daniel concerning the kingdom, but they could not find no charge or fault because he was faithful, nor was there any error or fault found in him.
第4节，那时总长和总督寻找但以理误国的把柄，为要参他，只是找不着他的错误过失，因他忠心办事，毫无错误过失。
This is truly amazing.
那我们看到这的确是很不可思议
Even though Daniel was in such high position.
那即便但以理他是在一个这么高的职位
You know, nowadays, if you want to be in politics, you know, everyone can find dirt about people in politics.
那在我们现今的社会，如果你要参与政治的话，任何人都会找到政治人物身上的一些把柄。
But here, see the governors, they try to find anything wrong against Daniel so they can bring charge against him.
那但是在这里，我们看到总长和总督要寻找但以理误国的把柄，为要参他。
But the Bible said they could find no charge
但是圣经这里谈到，但只是找不着他的错误过失，
or fault because he was faithful.
那是因为他忠心办事，
So he's not only faithful to God, but also he's faithful in serving the king.
所以他不单单是对神忠心，他在服务他的国家上面，他也是相当忠心。
And those who were jealous of him and those who want to get him in trouble, they could not find anything at all.
所以那些嫉妒他或是想要找他麻烦的人，完全没有办法找到他的过失。
And then at verse 4 it says, nor was there any error or fault found in him. Wow, how wonderful this is.
那所以第4节的后面就是谈到他毫无过失，他们找不到他有任何的错误。
Daniel's life truly glorified the name of God.
但以理的生命是真的荣耀神的，
Because I'm sure this governor, they tried very hard to find all different kind of faults, different kind of error, but they could not find anything.
因为我想总长和总督他们很努力，试着要找出他的任何把柄，但是他们却找不到任何的。
And that's why when you and I work in the world,
所以对我们来说，当我们在这个世界上工作的时候，
don't be surprised when this kind of people, go against us.
所以如果我们遇到这样子跟我们对抗的人，我们不要感到惊奇。
They try to find faults in us.
他们想要找到我们的把柄，
And if they cannot find anything, then God's name will be glorified.
但是如果他们在我们身上找不到任何把柄，那神的名就可以因此得荣耀
I。remember one time my wife, she need to make some kind of copy in her workplace for the church.
那我记得有一次，我的太太她在她的公司要为教会印 copy。
To copy some kind. The paper she want to copy is an actual large one, so she cannot do it at home because you need like those commercial machine.
那因为她要为教会来影印一个资料，那因为这个她需要比较大张的纸，所以她需要在公司印制，没有办法在家里印。
But she was in a dilemma because this is her workplace.
但是她那时候就陷入了两难，因为她要印的地方是在她的公司。
So the time she came up with a conclusion, just ask her boss if she could do it, right? As simple as that, right?
那最后她就想说很容易，她就直接去问她的上司，看看她能不能够这样做。
Because she just asked her boss, can I make copy? This is for my church, right? That's what she said.
所以他就跟他的上司说：“请问我可以在公司影印吗？那这个东西其实是为了教会的需要。”
And the boss was very nice and told, yeah, it's fine, you can do it.
那他的上司很好，就跟他说：“没问题，你可以这样做。”
Of course, she would have done it without him, if he would have done secretly, he's not going to know.
那当然，如果我的太太她私下做这件事情，她的上司或许也不会知道。
But I'm sure her conscience will not be clear.
但我相信她的良心会过意不去。
And plus, maybe in the future, someone will find out.
那另外也有可能将来有一些人会找出这个。
And then, of course, she's not going to have a good name in her workplace.
那如此一来的话，她在她工作的场所就不会有好名声。
But most importantly, God's name will not be glorified.
但最重要的是，因此神的名也不会得到荣耀。
So we know in workplace, we really need to be, wise as a serpent, but gentle as a dove. We need to do both.
所以我们在工作场合特别要表现出灵巧如蛇，驯良如鸽子。
So they find no fault in Daniel.
所以他们对于但以理找不到任何他的错误过失。
But in verse 5,
那在第5节，
then this man said, we shall not find any charge against this Daniel unless we find it against him concerning the law of his God.
那些人便说：“我们要找掺着蛋液里的把柄，除非在他神的律法中，就寻不着。”
It's very interesting, right?
那在这里我们看到很有趣的。
Of course, when they find faults, with Daniel, unless, only when concerning the law of his God.
他们说到，他们找不到但以理的把柄，除非在神的律法当中。
So now what these men also know that actually Daniel is very faithful to his God.
那换句话说，这些人也知道但以理对他的神是很忠心的。
If we set a trap for him, right, concerning for him not to worship his God, then for sure we'll find charge against him.
那所以，如果我们陷害他，让他没有办法敬拜他的神的话，那我们就会找到他的错误。
But for us, that is fine.
但对我们来说，这却没有什么。
If people find us at fault because we worship the true and living God,
因为如果人们因为我们敬拜真神而找到要参我们的事，
because we are faithful to our God,
但因为我们对神是忠心的，
then that is fine.
那这样子就没有问题。
As long as you and I are faithful to God,
只要我们对神有忠心，
then God will take care of the rest.
那神一定会看管我们所遭遇
But
的。
if people find us, good in front of, the other people, but not good in the eyes of God, and then we bring trouble to ourselves.
那如果说人们看我们在人前都很好，但是对神却不忠心的话，那这样会为我们招致麻烦。
Imagine if these men say, we shall not find any charge against Daniel, right, with the kingdom or concerning the law of his God, right? Imagine if they say that.
那我们可以想象，这些人说我们要找掺着但以理的把柄，除非在他神的律法中。
So outwardly, it seems like Daniel is fine with both situations, right? But actually, he's not fine with God, and that's a big problem.
那这里看起来好像他两方面都没有问题，但是如果是在神的律法当中的话，似乎就行不通。
And this kind of focus that you and I must have and determination we must have in our journey of faith.
那我们在我们信仰的途中，我们也要专注在这个上面。
So during the time, the governors and the satrap, they convinced the king to make out this decree.
所以当时总长和总督他们就说服了王要下这个命令。
And go to verse 10.
请看第10节。
Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went home in his upper room with his windows open to Jerusalem. He kneeled down on his knees 3 times that day and prayed and gave thanks before God, as was his custom since early days.
但以理知道这禁令盖了玉玺，就到自己家里，他楼上的窗户开向耶路撒冷，一日3次，双膝跪在他神面前，祷告感谢，与素常一样。
So one thing we notice about Daniel,
所以我们认识到但以理的一件事情，
all those who are jealous of him,
那些嫉妒他的人，
those who envy of him,
那些嫉妒他的
they want to get him into trouble.
他们想要陷害他，让他陷入麻烦。
And Daniel knew about it.
那但以理他也知道，
But he did not go to them and say something and try to fight, against them.
但是他却没有到这些人面前去和他们争论，
But instead, he'd leave everything up to God.
但是他把这一切都交托在神那里。
He knew that the writing, was signed. This means, if anyone, worship anything else beside King Darius, and then they will be thrown into the lion's den.
那他知道这个禁令上面说的是，任何人如果敬拜除了大利乌王之外的，
Daniel did not, do anything else, right? Trying to save himself, except to go and pray before the God of heaven.
那这些人就会被丢到狮子坑里。但是但以理却没有为自己做任何一切的事情，他只是回到家中，然后继续祷告。
And I'm sure he knew there was a trap.
那我相信他知道这是一个陷阱，
But this is what he does every single day.
但是祷告这个事情是他每一天都
Go
做
up,
的。
go to the upper room,
他到楼上的房间，
have his window open toward Jerusalem,
然后让他的窗户开向耶路撒冷，
kneel down and pray,
然后跪下来祷告，
and give thanks before God.
然后向神献上他的感
I mean,
谢。
really, when the king signed this decree, how come that Daniel was able to give thanks? Right? Because, wow, I'm going to get in trouble, God, because these people conspire against me. He didn't say any of those things. He just gave thanks to God.
那当 当但以理知道王签下了这个禁令的时候，他如何还能够感谢呢？因为他知道这个禁令会让他陷入麻烦当
So
中。
that's why praying is so important for you and I.
但是我们从这里可以看到，祷告是非常重
It
要的。
doesn't matter what kind of situation you and I are in.
那无论我们在遭遇什么样的状况，
In the time of peace, you and I should pray.
在平安顺遂的时候，我们应该祷告；
In the time of tribulation, you and I should pray.
在患难困难的时候，我们也
And we
应该
make it
祷告。
become a custom that praying, conversing with God is an everyday thing.
啊，我们应该要将祷告和神沟通当做我们每一天都做的事
And then
情。
God will always take care of us.
那神一定永远会看顾我们。
Now let's come up and pray together.
那我们现在一起到前面
And
来
tomorrow
祷告。
morning, we continue to study this.
那明天早上我们继续来查考
We。ask the minister to lay hands on us.
我们请传道长职为我们按手。